I nearly caught it. My friend. There was a small pause of our faces there for a second. I hate this software. Anyway, welcome. Oh, welcome to Talking Wednesday, episode 126. The manager of Sheffield Wednesday has been appointed.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I was like, why can I hear you breathing really weirdly? And then you've put the
Well,
tannoy on.
because I was gonna just go something like this.
A new Sheffield Wednesday manager, Xisco Muñoz.
I'm being a knob.
You are. Yes, you are. Oh, at least you did that after 30 seconds.
I checked. That's why I did.
Also, I'm finding anybody that says PC41 in the chat. I know where it's come from. We get it. He literally sits by his computer all day and gets ready to stream when anything happens. We get it. Yes, I saw the little end of your stream. Oh, it'll confuse it.
I didn't know you were watching my stream, so I thought I'd just put it in there.
No, I was watching the end to make sure you plugged the stream. I've just headbutted the actual behind me as well.
Ouch!
It's all going swimmingly well. Hello.
Yes. Hi. Shall we start with tradition? How's your week been?
Oh God, yeah. This is not. We had a podcast and everything. This is just going to be the manager stuff, and then we'll do all the news and stuff in another episode. But busy, quite life changing actually. There's been a big change at Wednesday, but I've made some decisions that are going to affect my life quite drastically, which I will talk about in due course. But it's been one of those weeks. They don't happen very often, but this week they're happening. What about your week?
Stupidly busy. Just in general, because everything went mental. Yes. Since like Darren Moore left to now, it has been insane. But I am glad that I don't have to go research any more managers or Google them, because I think Google is now recommending me managers for me to sign, because I've had to Google a lot of them. But at the end of the day, it's been busy, but it's been good for both channels. So I'm all for it.
I was going to say, because I was actually going to sit down tonight and do my video on, is it Muñoz? It's like Muñoz, right? Okay. Here's what Google says that N's supposed to sound like, right? Right?
Right.
Hang on.
Muñoz.
Enye.
Okay.
Right? But it doesn't work with the other vowels.
No.
So I was very confused, but I'll go with what you said. How did you say it?
Muñoz.
Muñoz.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't feel comfortable with this. You're asking me for translation stuff. That's not right. That's not how this goes.
It's the amount of his like career sheet with all his teams. I was like, that's just that Tsilibi that he signed, that he managed or whatever. How are you meant to say? Right? How are you actually meant to say that team?
I have no idea. The thing is, some of the names we've had, and Andy KABOODLEFISH, thank you for trying to teach us how to say some of them while we've been trying to learn them in the Discord. It's been very funny.
Well, I kept saying Adeniran as Adeniran until he left.
That's true.
So,
see, you knew how to talk until you did a podcast with me. That's it. I'm just saying it's that.
This is how you say. Oh no, it's not. No, it's not. I'm being such a boomer. Which buttons do you press here? No, I don't want to visit Georgia. I'm sure she's lovely. Right. Anyway. Welcome to the Talking Wednesday podcast. I think we've lost it, mate. It's been
a mental 2 weeks, let's call it that.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been fun to talk about, but also slightly concerning. As few people were saying, I wasn't backing the manager when I released my video. Go check it out if you've not checked it out yet.
Yeah, you were a little bit critical. I think you've got the thing where it could backfire on Chansiri, and I think that's your worry.
Yes.
And I
So
think, yeah,
let's do the tradition. Okay, we for the people who haven't watched the videos, and we have got quite a lot of audio listeners of this podcast.
yes, we have.
So let's do it properly. From the Wednesday website, Owls appoint Xisco Muñoz as first team manager. Sheffield Wednesday are delighted to announce the appointment of Xisco Muñoz as our first team manager. The Spaniard, who gained promotion to the Premier League with Watford in 2020-21, takes charge of the Owls with immediate effect. Following a successful playing career, which included a La Liga title and UEFA Cup triumph with Valencia in 2003-2004, Muñoz moved on to full-time management with Georgian outfit Dynamo Tbilisi in 2020. The 42-year-old guided Tbilisi to the Erovnu Liga title in the same year before joining the Hornets in December 2020. Muñoz was awarded the Championship Manager of the Month in March 2021 after 5 straight victories and went on to gain automatic promotion at Vicarage Road. The former winger has since had managerial stints with Spanish side SD Xisco and Anorthosis Famagusta in the Cypriot top flight. Welcome to Hillsborough, Xisco. I apologise to everybody just for having to put up with that. Tbilisi. Now it just sounds like somewhere near Mablethorpe.
It really does.
That's how you actually say it, chat.
Tbilisi.
But yes, that Thorup link came out of nowhere. I thought that was actually something. So here's the thing. The reason I was slightly more negative, and I was only saying, I wasn't being negative. I was backing him, by the way. I was saying I am optimistic for that. But when I looked at the CVs of certain managers, I was just saying his didn't necessarily stack up with the experience. I was saying how much of a risk this is, because it is a risk. It's one of those situations where Dean Smith, less of a risk, possibly less exciting, but less of a risk. For me, he was top runner, and I kind of got my heart set on him a little bit for the style and for the experience and for the contacts in the English game. That's fine, by the way. It's okay to have a favourite. Your opinion is valid.
With Smith. Yes. My favourite with Smith. I think you looked at some of the names that got put in there, and like today, Duncan Ferguson was one because someone on Twitter said he's on Eccleford Road, and it's like he's not. He's 100% not, and it's because he got sacked from Forest Green today, or left, or whatever it was. And the problem is, any manager that's been linked is, I think we have to. I think you've got to stop using this whole thing where Chansiri said you won't have to Google. I think that was a joke which hit very poorly in the room, and then everyone just run with it.
Well, in fairness, I did know who this was because of the Watford stint. I think we do have blinkers on for English football, and this guy has managed. I mean, I didn't know him as well as some of the other Watford managers, or the 5 that they had that year. No, there's only 2 that year, but it's one of those where he's had his stint in English football. If he does it again, we're laughing.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And I think the thing is, and I also think the other reason why a lot of Wednesday fans forgot who he was is we were looking at the bottom of the table that season. That was our relegation season. That was where we were trying to figure out which manager was coming in again. A lot of people will have forgotten who he was and what he did, because we were like, oh, we don't care what's up at there at the top. We're not nowhere near it. Why are we going to bother? And I think it's interesting, the appointment. I think it's one of those ones that's out of left field, but it's interesting that he's gone with a manager again and not a head coach. Because I was 100% sure he was going to go head coach this time, like he did with Carlos. So the manager wasn't going to have much of a say in transfers, in the day-to-day running, looking at target, because that fan forum and his statement made it sound like he wanted someone just to coach the team and not be involved. So the fact that he's gone manager again, I think is interesting.
It's also, if you look at his CV, you'd think if we're going to be a project, we'd be his first real project.
Oh, it's his only project if you think about it, because any other club he'd come into, he'd had to come in like halfway through a season and do like the firefighter job to try and get them to that last little bit.
This is one of those that it could be such a bold appointment. It's one of the, he will either really struggle or he'll do very well. I know that's so Michael Owen, right? But it is one of those managers that it is the typical unproven long-term manager. Short. He's a sprint manager, isn't he? He comes in and does the sprint.
It's the Allardyce as a Seedon who needs to stay up, apart from when he did it at Leeds.
Yeah, without the experience, obviously. But in terms of the one thing you will say, and I think I do have to ground it slightly, and I still have to say this: his Watford side were incredible. They should have won the league with most managers. And that's one side that people are neglecting slightly.
And they kept all their Premier League players. Now, the thing is, let's see what he does in recruitment. If he does have a say, because apparently he's still got this list he's got to work from. Does that list still change a little bit? As much as we've been complaining that it's taken a long time to get this manager in, it's the right time, though, because he's going to get the preseason with players. He's going to get a chance to see what they play. He's going to be able to put his things across to the players. Now, my thing is, did some of these players already know who were going in? Just because Reece James signed on Friday and Marvin Johnson then signed his contract on Saturday.
Oh, that's a really good point, actually. Did he? Because the thing is, right, and I can't believe this is legit, but the legit thing is, followed him on Instagram again, and he followed Wednesday. And that happened before the weekend. So
on Sunday, I did a video going, it's a bit weird that this random manager who's got no affiliation to Wednesday is following us. What's the thing? And a lot of people went, he's following Stoke, he's following West Brom. I think he's following Leeds. But why would you follow us if you have no unless you're looking for a job?
I thought he was just interviewed, to be honest. I thought that's why I wasn't going to cover it until today, and then this happens. So
I originally took it as I think he got the job and he jumped the gun. And I think I was right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you were. I think that makes a good point, actually, because I do still stand by the fact that the signings wouldn't need to be confirmed with the manager, because if what Chansiri said is true, yes, the manager has an input, but they have a list. They have a recruitment list. Yeah. So when Reece James was signed and Marvin Johnson was signed, they could have been signed back off the chairman wanting them at the club. However, they specifically weren't asked about managers, which they were never going to be anyway, because it's the in-house media team, which makes sense. But it's also a case of he could very much have been interviewed on the Friday, given the job. Oh, we've got this deal. Or even in the interview process, if it was before and it wasn't confirmed, oh, we are thinking of signing Reece James. Is he the sort of player for you? And he probably just nod, even if he didn't know who he was.
Reece James probably deal got done afterward, because just remember, Chansiri will have been negotiating with David Down, the new sporting director of Blackpool, who used to be the Sheffield Wednesday head of recruitment.
Yeah, I reckon he's done us a favour there, actually. Yeah. I reckon we've probably got him on the cheap.
Yeah. I think he's gone, look, this is how much they want, this is how much we want for him, but I can get it down to this. Let's just get a deal done and he's off our books.
Yeah. That's a bit weird, that one, isn't it? It's a bit dodgy behind the lines. He goes from one club and then we get the player that we had. But it's... And
also with the Marvin Johnson one, everyone was a bit... I know we're talking about manager, but this is stuff that's happened club-related while we've been looking for it. Marvin Johnson, were people going, well, he's gone as well then, isn't he? No, Marvin Johnson had quite a serious incident behind the scenes. His little boy went to hospital with some sort of seizures. So he was taking time to look after his family before the contract got signed, I think. I think the club just turned around to get your family and your stuff like that sorted and your contract also. I think he also gave us a verbal agreement that he was going to sign.
Well, I must say, we all wrote him off on the podcast recently. We all
Yeah, we did.
said we all thought it was gone because it was taking so long, but obviously we didn't know what that was behind the scenes. And I actually think, looking at our squad when he signed, I kind of breathed a sigh of relief. I was like, oh, players.
Yeah.
I was like, just don't care who they are at the minute. But I think Johnson will be a good option as well, especially because he can play as a winger.
I think we're going back to wingers.
I do, and that's quite exciting.
You know what excites me though?
Go on,
Malik Wilkes as a winger.
I know,
not a forward, a winger. Is what
he
did at Donny, and he was amazing. The thing is, it's really weird how football can change your mood, because whole of last week I was getting a bit concerned and I was a bit worried about the season. I'm not going to lie. I was like, we haven't got a manager in, we haven't got this. But now I know we've got a manager in. Now I know we've got a Wilkes doing a preseason with us and not half of it, nearly over it with Hull, and looks like he's got an injury hit thing done. I'm excited to see what that player can do in the Championship, because we know he's fast and we know he can do the tricks. I think if we get the right person there, and if we got wingers, what does that mean for Michael Smith? He feeds off balls into the box.
Somebody's literally just commented on my video. You weren't present at the interview. Negative. Give him some support. No, I wasn't. You can imagine that. Yeah, I was there. That's why we held the podcast off.
Yeah. John Theory just told us, lads, can you not do it yet? I've not announced it yet. Just wait a minute.
We could have been like those proper, like, well, we did know something. We could, like those people who pretend they're in the know about certain things. Yes, they're not the club, but we hear things from the club sometimes through other sources and things like that. Yes, but it's not like it is kind of funny that we said we'll hold off just on the off chance something gets appointed tomorrow night. Hello.
Yeah. Well. Ironically, my video for like 6 o'clock was actually about how Marvin Johnson had a really positive attitude going into this season with what he said to the media. Like, I wonder why I had a positive attitude now. Oh, I think I figured it out.
I think the one thing I did say, and I do stand by, is the positivity of Watford fans kept saying about how this manager was managing on vibes all the time, and he wasn't very tactical. He didn't have much tactical prowess, so to speak.
But you don't win 5 on the trot if you don't have any tactics, mate.
But it's also very important to state how important it is to keep the morale at Sheffield Wednesday, because we've just taken a battering
last couple of weeks.
So if this guy is somebody who goes in and lifts everyone's spirits,
fantastic.
Yeah.
I think the interesting thing is, and it's like what Stephen just said, no backroom staff yet. And I think that'll be happening all this week. If Chansiri's hired in, he's got to let him bring his own people in as well. You can't just give him people. You have to let him have his people in.
I'm just going to have a look at his backroom staff for a second, actually.
It's an interesting one with backroom staff, because with Darren, he brought his own in. With Gary Monk, he didn't have his own. He had Lee Bullen and co to help him, and a couple of people. He eventually got like the likes of Jamie Beattie in eventually, but then that didn't last all of 5 seconds. I think if he gets his backroom staff in, and I think you'll hear more of that tomorrow, because there is a press conference tomorrow talking to him, which I'm intrigued to see how he speaks, because apparently he speaks very good English and he's very knowledgeable about how he wants to play. Again, but I've seen some people say, oh, he's only got a little bit of championship experience. But that little bit of championship experience he had won him manager of the month with 5 on the bounce, with a very good Watford team, I will add, a very good Watford team. But he got him promoted. He finished the job. It's like when we were in League One back in 2011, we got rid of Megson and we brought in David Jones to finish the job. The thing is, we need to see what he does next in terms of a full building process.
We're talking about his backroom staff here, right? It's actually very hard to pin down.
He's had a couple, hasn't he?
Yeah, like the people, for example, who was with him at Watford. Oh, right, okay. So he had an assistant manager called Roberto Cuesta, right? He then
James will be taking a crack course on Azeta Stone and speak better Spanish.
But he'd been with him before at the Tbilisi, right? Tbilisi.
Tbilisi, just outside
Tbilisi on Trent.
Mablethorpe.
Right. But he's gone to NK Istra, right? Apparently he's still there. That's all I can find on him. However, his fitness coach who went with him to Watford, Jordi Abella, skipped his first club that Muñoz went to.
Yeah.
However, he went with him to Anothosis, which is the one he'd just been at. So he might come in as a fitness coach because
we got a fitness coach in.
He might want his own as well.
Yeah, true.
I mean, to be honest, we could do with another one. Yeah, clearly,
he's
with our
42,
injuries.
Phil. He's 42. Now, interestingly, The Athletic has turned around and done an article saying that Danny Rohol, the German assistant manager, was considered and was picked at the final stages. And the German assistant manager, and he's meant to be like the next Nagelman.
What's his
coming
name?
through.
Sorry,
Danny Rohl. Rohal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry, I didn't hear you probably the first time.
He got picked to the post. Munich picked him to the post from him, which is interesting.
Well, it must be the interview process because we know a load of people have been in and out. I really want to say something. Roland Storm said he don't get to 15th in the Prem in vibes. He was in the Prem for 2 months. That's the one thing I do want to state that people don't seem to. Oh, well, he got Watford to 15th. He was there for 2 months in the Prem with them.
It's not a case that we're celebrating winning manager of the month, mate. It's more the fact that he did manage to get unpromoted in that last little bell. And I think that's the thing. But again, he's never had a full project. And I think that's going to be the bit that's going to be interesting.
Well, that's where my concerns, so to speak, come from, is the fact that he's not had a full season. You know,
also, let's just remember, it's Watford. They go through managers like they change their pants.
Yes, that's a very good point. Yeah, it's Watford.
Yeah. Like, if he's someone who's used to working under a very kind of weird situation behind the scenes, and people say Chansiri's not great behind the scenes, this should be a walk in the park considered how Watford are run.
Well, I'm hoping it's another one that we see the best things come out of managers that have a good relationship with Chansiri. So if that's the thing that we've found in the interview, the one thing I looked at, I went, is he better than Darren Moore? Because a lot of the people were saying, yes, his CV's technically better with the promotion, but yes, okay, let's start that argument in the chat, shall we? Does he look better than Darren Moore? Because he has the promotion to the Premier League, which is a big thing. I am not doubting that. But when you look at what his former teams have said about him, about his tactical, it does seem like, in terms of his personality, he is more like a manager like Darren Moore, if he relies more on motivation. So we've possibly just gone for a newer version of that with somebody who's got out of this league.
So if you want to know what his stats were at Watford, it was 36 games, 21 wins, 4 draws, 11 losses, and he picked up 67 points and 1.86 per match.
I think the most important thing is his style of play. So he, it's not like a 4-3-3 that you'd usually see. It sort of collapsed. Apparently, when I was looking at it, they used a 4-1-4-1 as well. So it wasn't like the complete Dean Smith 4-3-3. I think the one thing they had, though, they had Pedro up front.
Yeah, they did.
They had Pedro. I think in his first season there, he had Deeney. He had Pedro, Deeney.
And Deeney come out and said this could be a perfect fit, perfect time, perfect club. When he was at Tbilisi, he was in charge for 11 games, 8 wins, 3 losses, 24 points, 2.18 per match. He does get results, even if he's not there for long.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. He does get a decent amount of points. Like, what was his last club? His last club was in Cypriot, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah, his win percentage just fall off a cliff after Watford. It's 31% in his last 2 clubs.
But that's 31% with not many games.
No, But if you look at it, I think it's just if you look at it in dramatic contrast to his Watford win percentage, which, if I remember rightly, was something like plus of, was it north of 50 or was it 70 or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Which is, I literally just done the video. All the stats have disappeared off my screen. Hang on. So, yeah, his win ratio. No, it was Tbilisi that was 72% win, 73% win ratio. Watford was a 58% win ratio. So that's not bad.
No.
I only played 13 games in the past year, though.
Managed, do you mean?
Yeah, in terms of played as a manager. I didn't mean he's put his boots on. Maybe he could. Maybe we need wingers. He's only 42. Some players still play at that age.
I think. And also, we've got to remember, win percentages don't really mean anything.
Sorry. What? Phil's just given me an idea for a breakout.
Yeah.
We've just signed the manager. Could Troy Deeney be a Sheffield Wednesday player? Do we want Troy Deeney up front at Sheffield Wednesday?
How old is Troy Deeney now?
I'm gonna find out, but let me know your thoughts on that, Jake.
He got good vibes out of him.
What is it with the vibes and this new manager?
He's 35.
He is 35. And he did say Birmingham was his last sort of like.
Yeah.
He's a free agent.
Is he free?
Yeah.
Oh, that actually might happen then.
He's been released this summer.
Oh, that actually might happen then. I was wrong when I spoke to someone earlier. I said that he wouldn't leave Birmingham, but if he's left, that actually might happen.
No,
Troy Deeney coming in as assistant manager. How about that?
A player coach role, maybe.
Or here's one for you, James. Vardy and Troy Deeney up top.
Oh my God. You might as well just put a rocking chair in the cop. I mean, I'd have both of them, to be honest. Like, in terms of...
when we sub them off, do we have to give him a blanket and a cup of bog roll?
I can't lie, I've not watched Deeney in a couple of seasons, but if he's still a finisher, just stick him in the box and have everybody else do the running.
Well, when he was what was his record at Birmingham? Birmingham, he played 54 times and 11 goals.
He tweeted
from 2021 to 2023.
I genuinely think he could... What did you just say? Sorry, what were those stats?
54 appearances, 11 goals. From 2021 to 2023.
He scored 7 goals last season in the champ.
Yeah.
He played 33 games. I've heard worse things, Jake.
Yeah. Well, hang on. Where's the tweet from earlier? Troy Deeney said, very excited for the coach. They could be the perfect for both at this time. Clapping hands emoji.
I know we were joking, but like, that could be a thing.
That could happen, especially if it's a free agent.
Well, he is. He was released.
No, but that's what I'm saying, especially if he's a free agent.
Yeah, exactly. I was agreeing. We're getting too excited. But yeah, it's not said he's retired or anything like that.
No.
He was the captain of Birmingham. He could... Who have we got from? We've got...
Smith, Patterson, Windass.
Do you think Windass will be played on the wing?
I think Windass might be played at the cam.
Yeah.
Play at the 10th.
I do think that's probably his best position at the minute. But
yeah,
if you think about strikers, it is Smith and Gregory, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, there's Patterson, but
if you sign,
he's not. I'll be honest, Deeney's not the striker you need. We need a pacey striker. We need to sign a pacey striker. Yeah. That's what we need, really. But if you sign pacey wingers, Wilkes, we need like a top quality winger now for this system.
Oh God, yeah.
With Malik Wilkes as well, that could be a move. But Troy Deeney, 7 goals last season, free agent. Let us know what you think in the comments about that one. There you go for the people watching live. You don't have
Yep.
to click that video now, but please do. It helps engagement and it grows the channel and the podcast. But yeah.
Also, you've got the thing of Doug Reece-James playing midfield again, like he had done for a bit.
No, I think Palmer will play in midfield.
Do you think that's not a bad shout actually? You know, what Bannon, Byers, and Palmer?
I think we'll potentially utilize Volks a little bit more for a defensive option.
Yeah.
But if we were talking about fullbacks going into that midfield, it would be Palmer for me over Brown.
Brown. We don't have a Brown.
It's because he's just signed for Lincoln, and I was just looking at that story. It's because
I got to say, he's at Lincoln now. It's a good club for him.
James, not James. It'd be Palmer, not James.
There we go.
They're both left backs, and I was just looking at him going for Lincoln.
I don't know.
I do agree with what Scotch is saying there. You can't
leave out Volks. No,
Volks, but I actually probably believe you can. I would personally just go for it because Liam Palmer's a defensive player anyway. For me, I'd give a go for a midfield.
And he got pace for days.
Yes, I'd give a go of. I'd actually have. This is why I'm not a manager, but I'd have Byers, Bannon, and Palmer in the midfield.
Jordan, I don't know where Backinson fits at all. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know where he fits in the team. The car going to another club.
I'm not being that. No, I'm not being that harsh. But given the current caliber of midfield,
in the current caliber,
unless he comes on, he needs to make sub appearances.
He needs to properly come on.
Yes, he needs to make sub appearances.
Yeah, but when did we sign him? Did he sign halfway through preseason? Maybe there's another one that needs a preseason.
That's a good point, though. I was thinking earlier, like, we haven't made many signings yet in terms of we've actually made no new players. No. And obviously that would be without the manager. So how quick do you think the business will happen under this?
Oh, I think we're going to be busy next week. This week to next week, I think we're going to be really busy. I think he want to get as many people in as humanly possible so he can start getting them. He'll want at least, if not half done by the time we're on the plane to Spain. Also, that's the other thing. We're going to Spain, and that got announced at the weekend.
Yeah, that'll be why. That will 100% be why.
Yeah.
But,
are we going to be scouting some Spanish players out there?
What if we signed Danny Rose? Let's just go for all the players that played under him. I'm just looking at all the players to see if we could bring any in on, like loans that haven't kicked on.
Yeah, Backinson came on the 21st of July, so he didn't really have a preseason.
That's fair.
I'd like to see Aaron Collins, but it would be pricey.
Remember, we are doing a podcast as well, so please read the questions out when you reply to them, Jake.
Got 24 said he'd like to see Aaron Collins come from Bristol Rovers, but I think that would be a very difficult deal to do.
Jordan says, did Vidra play under Xisco?
I think he did. Was he at Burnley then?
He might have been. It was, yeah. He's not been at Watford for a while, has he?
No.
Is there any young players, do you think, that... Because I'm trying to look at that squad, and I don't think there's anybody that hasn't really kicked on there, to be honest, in that Watford side he had.
Not really.
This is what I'm saying. He's a manager without the level of connections with the managers we've been talking about recently, which could be a... Do you know what? For the style of football, though, if he brings that flair to Wednesday, it would be nice to see. Because everybody always talks about, Carlos, and like they always seem to like associate him with Flair, but I don't think he was that manager at all. I don't think he was I don't think he wasn't a specifically traditionally attacking manager. He hated a winger as well. He loved a wide midfielder, but he hated a winger.
Hey, James.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we bring in Tom Delabashiru, the twin brothers Fitz?
What, just as his brother leaves?
Yeah. We already have a shirt made up for you, mate.
We haven't announced that yet, have we? But that is...
No, we haven't announced it, but I think they have. I think it's all done.
Interesting. I'm just trying to look at his squad now.
He had a decent squad, to be fair. It was a very good squad. Like, he had Lazar, who we had on loan. from Newcastle, but he's now playing in Serie C.
I was gonna say, have you seen the amount? Yeah, Gerrard, by the way. Just want to mention he's gone. He has gone to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, he has. Which is
It's just
odd.
It's just worrying the amount.
And also, have you seen the Celtic winger that's now gone, who's 24, who's gone to Saudi Arabia?
The problem is, right, I've got nothing against that league growing. However, if you grow a league by destabilizing world football, that's not good. That's where I'm slightly worried now, because you're looking at things and you're going, this is... They're
talking about getting that Inter Milan keeper as well, aren't they?
Which one?
Ocha.
Oh, right, okay.
The one Manchester United are linked with.
Yeah, so like the players that were playing for him at the time, like Stipe Perica, the one I always sign on FIFA, he's at like standardly age now. Is it Miles Starr still at Watford? He is, because he was like linked with loads of clubs, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He had Isaac's Success.
He had Jock King.
I'll tell you what, Isaac's Success is at Udinese.
Why don't I recognise that name?
FIFA, he's his FIFA kid.
No, I just recognise the name. That.
If Ben Foster hadn't have gone to Wrexham, we could have had a keeper.
Do you remember last season? We were talking about Matty Pollock. He signed Matty Pollock.
Oh,
and he went on loan. He went on loan to Aberdeen. He's the defender. He's only 21. We did a video on it. We did a breakout on it.
Maybe
he signed him at Watford.
And where is he currently? Sorry, did you say, is he still at Watford?
He's still at Watford.
Maybe a loan then. Yeah.
He's just been on loan at Aberdeen. I'm thinking thingy. People he might have worked with before.
I'm just looking at the positions we need winger wise.
We do need.
Oh yeah, Cleverly, but Cleverly is just retired.
Yeah.
Tell you what, we can have Will Hughes. I mean, that's never going to happen. But he was always a player that I thought like we could have signed Will Hughes back in our decent championship days.
Yeah.
That was the time to sign a player like that. It was always my first choice on FIFA. Yes.
What are the names that got branded around recently with that Maja, who was at Sunderland and he went to Bordeaux, but I think he's linked with Rangers now.
I just think we need to see what Jordan's just said. Chancery has just started following Troy Deeney. I doubt he's just started following him. It would be a laugh. Though,
that would be funny if he did.
If he came through, but I don't really know. Yeah. I don't really know. How do you feel in general about this one, Jake? Because we'll summarize. Because like I'm sort of. It's settling in now, and I'm kind of going through that excited, optimistic phase, whereas before I was criticizing it and trying to pick it apart, basically, because I feel like you have to be objective.
I'm happy with him coming in, as long as he gets to have a little bit of say and the funds are available for him to bring in what he wants to bring in. If there's a player he wants. He's still a young manager, and it does sound like he plays very attacking football, which is something a lot of fans will like to see. But if we're going to play an attacking football in the Championship, we need to make sure we are very solid at the back. Like right now, we need a rotation or another keeper to fight Dawson. We need 2 or 3 defenders. We need probably 2 midfielders and 2 wingers and probably 1 more striker.
Yeah.
Not another one. And
every position pretty much needs strengthening.
Yeah. We need at least, like he said, 9 or 10 players to come in. And they need to come in this week and before we go into Spain, where all the proper conditioning work will get done. Like we got 2, is it 2 or is it 3? Preseason game coming up. I know we've got York and we've got Donny on Tuesday night.
At least he's here for the start of the preseason
Yeah.
games. That's massive. Do you know what I will say? Hats off to Chansiri for. He's got him in. And either way you look at it, he's made the appointment before the games have kicked off. So that team have had to work really hard to bring in a man, because Darren Moore leaving in that way has left us in the lurch. So,
I will say this as well. Like, I still don't think Chansiri covered himself in much help as such, because I don't think he needed to bring that statement out he did on that Thursday. He could have just left it at mutual consent, but he was getting annoyed. I think he was getting annoyed at how the club was looking at what happened and how he was looking. And I don't think he needed to bring that statement out. He could have just left it.
That's interesting because I disagree, because the club was getting dragged.
So your thought, you think he did need to bring that statement out?
I do. I think he needed to say something, because it annoyed me that he wasn't saying anything on that. And I understood about like that you can have conversations behind closed doors, but with all that was getting speculated, when I saw the speculation from the media, from social media, I was like, just say it, and then we know what it is.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you think Darren Moore could take the high ground up until now, when you go, why hasn't he said anything yet? If it's not true. And I'll tell you what annoyed me to the extent of that, when people were going, well, if it's 4 times his salary and he's not on very much, then maybe he just wanted the wage of a championship manager. I was like, could you see Darren Moore being on much less than $5,000 a week?
No.
No. Right? Which, if you take $5,000 a week as a hypothetical, he wanted 4 times that, 20 grand. You're looking at over the contract. You'll be nearly $3 million out for the contract.
I think it was the years.
Yes, that's exactly it.
I think it was a case of, I either give you a 12-month rolling, like you've been on, and I give you that wage.
Yes.
Or you take the 3 years contract at your current wage and take the bonuses if you do it. I
think he'd probably give him a 20 grand contract if he wanted a year. And that's the problem. Because the thing is, right, I fully agree that you can't take the risk of a 3-year contract. Because, right, let's just do that. All right, let's say he's on 4 grand, shall we? He's on 4 grand in League One, right?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is what is less than what a lot of players are on in League One. Not all of them, but like the top end teams. So
I'll let you do maths, because I don't do maths.
$4,000 a week, right? So currently he was on 208 grand a year, right? So if he's on that and he wants 4 times his salary, my brain is going, by the way. Am I doing that right?
I know somebody said in the chat, Julian Daniels last, he's 33. We need to get away from these over 30s. No offense. Sam Sturridge from Stephen Parkin is a great shout, though, from Forest.
Yeah.
That is a cracking shout, and I think they will be willing to let him go. And at 24, he knows where the back of the net is. He's got a good understanding at times. Granted, 37, 8 goals, 22 goals, but he can go when needed.
We'll have a look at that properly in a minute, but yeah, I've got so $2.5 million, by the way, if he was on 4 grand a week and he wanted 4 times his salary.
Also,
$2.5 million for the 3 years.
What was the coaching staff wanting? Because it was a deal for the coaching staff as well as him, if you remember.
Yeah, but I think that what people aren't overlooking is the fact that if he gets sacked after 6 months, you're still liable for the money.
Yeah,
the contract. He'd be placed on gardening leave and he'd be very comfortable.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of money over a 3-year contract. But yeah. So go on. What was that player you said?
Sam Sturridge. He's currently at Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, I know he's
only 20. He's only 24. So it's the right age we're looking at.
Okay.
Also, we haven't spoke since then. since all what happened last week. Well, Barnsley lost their manager as well. So the two teams in the League One playoff lost their managers.
Yes, and actually, it's reported that Moore rejected Barnsley.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been seeing that.
Interesting. It's interesting Moore hasn't got another job lined up yet.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see, like Mark says, this is all speculation. Nobody knows what Moore was on. But it's not like he was on $1,000 a week. That's what I'm saying. Like, we were going very low here. Like, it's one of those things where I don't fathom how some people think he would have been on such a low sum.
I think the issue you've got is no one will ever come out of this looking great. Chansiri doesn't look great because he come out and said it. And he said it was going to be between him and Darren Moore. Darren Moore isn't going to come out and say it's not his style. And I think the situation you got is if you only hear one side, you're always going to be speculating. So that's the issue. If you're always going to be speculating, it's that kind of thing. There's no point of talking about what it was in that sense because we only have one side. I think what we do is we do what Darren Moore's done, and every time he gets spoke to about it, he goes, I had a great time there. Please see my statement. I don't look back. I look forward. So we must do the same. We'll look forward.
Yes. Yeah, it's worth mentioning because we needed to talk about it because by the time we'd actually ended up getting around to that one, it'd have been well in the past. But
yeah.
let us talk about this Sam Surridge then, because that's not a bad shout because he went to Forest. He played 20 times for them in the Premier League, scoring 1 goal. But before that, he was at Stoke. He actually signed a 4-year deal with Stoke. Yeah, he did. A 4-year deal, but he was only there for a season.
Yeah.
Before Forest, because he went on loan to Forest and Forest signed him and he scored 7 goals in the Championship for them during the promotion season.
I can see them wanting to probably get him off the books.
Even if it's a loan, right?
Yeah.
Because he signed a 4-year contract
he's 6'3" as well. So if we're doing wingers, balls into the box.
Is he quick?
He's quickish.
Are we sure?
He's quickish. Oh, don't that.
You don't want to do this again.
No, I don't. I really don't. Especially since I got it from good knowledge that somebody mentioned it to Josh Windass.
Yeah, I know. That still made me laugh when I heard that.
Yeah.
Right, let's do Sam Surridge's FIFA card then. So he's a 71 rated striker, 69 pace. So if that relates to real life, which it usually doesn't, by the way.
No.
Unless it's Windass who had like 90 pace. He was very fast, by the way. 71 shooting, 55 passes, 69 dribbling, 28 defending, 71 physical. So he'd be decent for a FIFA career mode. And actually, you probably want some younger legs up front.
Also, what broke today, I don't know if you saw it, about Dominic Iorfa possibly going to a Czech, was it Croatian side? So Alan
was it Dynamo Zagreb?
That's the one. Thank you.
Yes.
There were talk about them coming in for him, inquiring about him. I can't see it, but
3 million.
Stranger things that happened. We weren't all expecting Andre Gray to go when Darren Moore came in.
I can't see him going to Croatia.
No,
personally, but it's one of those situations where it is stranger things have happened.
Yeah. It's right now we can't afford to let players go. We've got 17 players on the books. We need more.
Dominic Iorfa isn't a player I'd be getting rid of at this stage either.
To be fair, he'd gone back. I think that last part of the season, he turned back into the Iorfa of old. That could command his box, getting the tackle in, and he started to look like the player we signed when he first came in. And the fact that he's on a new 1-year deal helps a lot. Also, something that's not been mentioned, and I think it's very crucial, that Callum Patterson signed that deal he got given early. He already decided he wanted to stay. And I think that's huge. And I think someone like a Patterson in a Muñoz side could actually benefit as well.
I actually think someone like Dominic Iorfa will be one of the biggest beneficiaries of I don't know why I said it like that.
No, I don't.
It's getting late. It's been, I've been up since 5:30. But like, I honestly, we nearly cancelled this podcast.
Yeah, we did.
did cancel this podcast.
We did cancel this podcast.
And then it got announced, but it's all fun. Iorfa's pace will be required,
Yes.
as Mr. J has also just said there, because this new manager likes to play possession football. You lose possession.
He likes to attack.
You have to regain possession quite quickly.
Yes.
And we don't want to get countered as well if we're going to be playing attacking football. So I actually think if you think about when he played in that central defensive midfield role, he dragged the ball out of the box and he wasn't afraid to go forward with it. And I think you're going to be wanting more ball playing defenders like that. So I can't see Iorfa going anywhere.
He likes wide attackers and fullbacks as well.
Yes, but I don't think Iorfa's going anywhere.
No, I don't think it. I think it's just one of those ones where it's been written. It's a good story, and if it did, we know what Chansiri's like for negotiation.
Yeah,
you would have to pay. It's like the whole thing with Josh Windap being talked about going to Southampton. You would have to put a massive amount in front of Chansiri for him to sell.
Oh my God! Speaking of Southampton, thank God it's not Nathan Jones.
Oh God, yes. Oh, I wouldn't be able to watch that football.
Because I was thinking about this. I was like, the more it was creeping in, and the more the rumours were coming in.
Yeah. I think Chansiri's done that thing that I think we all thought he might do. He might have gone a bit left field and gone with another foreign option. I think we were all thinking that.
I think.
But I think it's a good appointment.
I think Dean Smith was top choice. I think he was interviewed, and I think it didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's personally where I'm going with that. But it's one of those situations where it would be nice to peek behind the curtain and see how many people turned it down.
Yeah.
But I think Muñoz was up there. And what I do like is he's been true. Chansiri's been true to his word in terms of all the managers we were linked with. I think you'll notice, apart from the outliers such as Nathan Jones and things like that, they played with the certain style, and it was all that attacking style. I think every manager I've spoken about in the past week played a 4-3-3.
Yes.
And I know that might just be a sign of the football, but
they all play the style that we're already playing.
Exactly.
And also, you got to think you may have tiki-taka style of football coming.
I just said exactly and just realised because I'm used to you stating facts. There's not the style we already play. I don't think we play attacking football.
No, we don't play attacking football. But
I usually trust your solid points.
I mean, we did League One first season. We played very attacking football at times, and I think we had to go to a. If you look at
the problem is we played wing backs. I hate wing backs.
Yeah, same. If you look at the last two games under Darren Moore, they were the most attacking football we saw all season. Right, Robin? Yeah. And we saw what this team could do when it attacks. And it potentially
useless half the game and then get a last-minute winner in terms of the final.
Potentially, it could be scary.
Yeah.
If you get it right with the right person. Yeah, and I'm wondering if Chansiri's gone, I want that this season. And Muñoz has gone, I can give you that, but I need this, and this. The interesting thing we need to figure out, and it needs to be done by Friday now. The clock is now, who is his coaching staff coming in?
That was exactly what I was about to say. I think we will... I'm enjoying making videos again. It's weird. It's been a long time.
I say again, I've been doing it.
You've been doing it forever. But people seem to be responding really well to the channel videos as well. So thank you for all that support. I probably will cover when we bring the coaching staff in because it's nice to talk about positive things. But support Puck's channel, support this channel, support the podcast. I think we will leave it there today because this was the manager reaction. I am optimistic, cautiously optimistic for the future. We will basically get together and do. I think the good thing is we can probably, unless something drastic happens, actually have a full week without doing a podcast and then do the podcast as normal next week with loads to talk about. So it might be a bumper episode. Having said that, he might sack him tomorrow. So we will see. What happens? That would be so
Wednesday like.
Sheffield Wednesday drama world. But let's just quickly go to the chat. Anybody got anything they want us to quickly talk about before we go? We will see through there. We have a lot of people talking. Make sure you do like the video as well.
Yep.
If you haven't liked the stream already. Mark says we're looking to have the Wednesday channels. I'm sure we all appreciate that. Thank you.
It's been an interesting one on it. Only Sheffield Wednesday could go from having that high all the way up to the very top to then in a space of 2 weeks, like going, what do we do? What are we doing? What's going to happen next?
So I'm noticing in the chat
Miles
Stephen keeps talking about Miles Leben, who I think that's a FIFA signing, but I see what you're saying. He basically for Charlton last season in League One, he scored 12 goals in 35 appearances. So it's not.
Is he still at Charlton or is he on loan?
Yes, yeah. He's 19 years old.
I will say this now. This is gonna sound really weird and really strange, and it's very speculation. But with the crop of Spanish managers that are currently in the Premier League, could there be a chance of us getting some very good loans from the Premier League? I'm thinking Arsenal. I'm thinking Man City.
That would be fantastic. Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
we might pick a few of those apart. What I will say as well is foreign managers coming in with the rule change where you can bring in a couple of non-homegrown players now. Watch us make use of that. That's all I'm saying.
I'd love to bring Tom Davis and Lisa Lee, but I think he's probably going to go to the other side. The former Everton midfielder, and he will be on a lot.
That's the thing. We don't want to pay people. I think this club has got to be vibes, hasn't it? I think that's the theme of today's episode. Vibes. Players have got to be here, not just for the packet, but for the vibes. And that is the least I will ever sound like myself. And that is how I will sign off this episode of the Talking Wednesday podcast. Have you got anything to add this week, my friend?
Viva the Spanish Revolution!
Wow. Hope monetization filters don't think you started some sort of one of those channels. Yeah. But yes, that's all we've got for this week's episode of Talking Wednesday, guys. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you in the next episode of Talking Wednesday.
See ya.